How's it going, everybody? Here to talk to you today about a new app that's available on both the iPhone and also the iPad, which is Strut Type Camera, allowing you to take turn-of-the-century vintage photos right on the fly with your iPhone or iPad. I have it here on the iPhone 4S and as well as the new iPad. iPhone 4S takes marvelous photos on the fly with its high resolution photos, and allowing you to customize them right on the fly as well is just marvelous. But today for the video, I'm going to go ahead and use the iPad as it get a better view of the app. So starting off Strut Type Camera, it allows you to do two choices of take a photo right now or use something out of your photo album. If I'm going to go ahead and take one now, you can actually see what a Strut Type Camera, which was one of the first on-the-fly photo cameras available for the time. So if I go ahead and hit this, you get your dark slide feature, your shutters and everything, just like you would on a 1875 Strut Type camera. But I'm going to go ahead and choose a photo I took earlier on in the week, which is of a 1915 Grey Dort, which was early competition of the Model T. And I took this about a week ago. We're going to go ahead and modify this to turn it into, this photo is an era photo, but we're going to turn it into a vintage early 1900 era photo. So let's go ahead and look at the features on the app first. We have the Take Photo button, Photo Album, Settings page, which gives you a lot of nice settings like taking a photo instantly in black and white, choosing your different resolutions that you want to save and use it in, which is really great when you're using your iPhone to take high quality vintage photos, your social networking settings, and as well as it comes with a great user guide that you can use and refer to at any time. Your sharing tab allows you to go ahead and save your photo, email it, and share it to your favorite social networking outlets with the touch of a button. Your undo button is going to be great and reset everything back to how it was so that you can go ahead and modify it. And as well as the random button, which we're going to look into a little later as well. But let's take a look at the bottom bar and the numerous amounts of filters and on-the-fly image processing settings you can use. Starting off with the palette filter page, which has a numerous amount of black and whites to choose from, browns, sepia, a lot of really nice colors that you can use. I personally like this high black and white here. Now the next button you're going to use the most on Strut Type photo app is the Radical Tilt Slider button. This allows you to choose how much of that effect you really want to use. If I were to drag it right down to the bottom here, you're not really going to get too much. If I dragged it all the way to the top, it's going to be 100%. So you can kind of set it at where you're happy with. I think it looks great right about there. Marvelous. The next button on yours is going to be the Canvas button, which allows you to mimic early photo type papers, what would happen over time, your canvas, your musty, your mildew. I really like this one because this is really typical of what you'd see in a old photo that's been sitting up in grandma's attic in a shoebox for who knows how long. Or your cardboard, which was common for early image printing, stains, moldy, faxing, dampness. I think I'm going to go ahead and use mildew. I really like the look of this one. And this is definitely a common one in early 19th century photos. Marvelous. Choose your setting of how much you want to go for, and go ahead and move on to the next tab, which is your textures. And this is what would happen over time in your photos to do with damage to the photo and such, like dirty water, etching, grunge, ink, peeling, scratch, and scratchy. I love the peeling effect here. This is a really great effect, and you can really see this in early photos where you get those peeling and lifting of the image off the canvas that was used. Looks brilliant. I think I'm going to go ahead and use the ink one here for today's purposes, and it gives you a really nice spotty look of stains that have happened to the photo over time. Set it at how much you want, and the instant image processing will modify it great. The next one is your vignettes, which are what happens with light effects, pardon me, which are what happens when the photographer has made an error, let too much light in, or whatnot. This would be a bad one here of what would happen, the light effects. And you can really see what happens there when light was let into the photo by error, which is the light leaks here. And I think I like this one the most because it's really common, traditional. You'd see a little bit of light leak around the side of light getting into the camera. Looks great. The next one here's the vignettes I was looking for, which is your fades that you can add into the photo if you want to add a nice soft border to it. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the photo. Give it a really nice era type look. It looks great. And last but not least is your borders and frames, which allow you to add early frames, borders. I like to make my edges a little rough around the edges and give it that real historic look. And now after I've gone through all 6 steps here, after that you have, in a couple of minutes, I was able to take a photo that I took the other week and turn it into something that looks like it was taken over 100 years ago in the early 1900 era. Looks beautiful. Now I can go ahead and save that, share it, email it, send it to my friends, and it looks marvelous. Now another nice thing is if I'm not happy with what's been happened, I can hit the return button, restore it right to scratch. Now what I mentioned earlier was the random button, and this is something that you can use if you just point, shoot, take a photo, and you want to quickly turn it into a era-specific photo, is the random button, which will really use all that Strut Type camera has to offer and turn your photos into a work of art in a matter of seconds with a point, click, shoot, and then tap the random button. And it's great what it will come up with. Beautiful photo. Looks great, era specific, and all I did is hit one button, and that's what it generated. Looks awesome. Now, another nice feature for those camera enthusiasts and camera professionals alike is the cross-processing mode, which is the dropper button that we see. The dropper button will allow you to take you from your filters page into the cross-processing, which is your wand and the HSB gamma settings. So the wand will allow you to put some really, really nice fades into your app, allowing you to put some linear fades into it. I can go ahead and demonstrate that now, just like this. And we can go ahead and make a beautiful linear fade for your photos, or also a circular spot type photo fade for the photos. So if you really just wanted to capture the gentleman here next to the car, or we'll go ahead and set that right about there, the gentleman next to the car, or something else, or to get a really spot focus fade on something. There we are. And you'll get a brilliant fade onto the photo. Marvelous. And also just by hitting the X, you can simply clear it away and go ahead and choose something else that's your fancy. I'm also going to demonstrate here the circular spot focus. If you really want to just focus in on something and really only highlight that. So just by going to that, choosing your light point, after a couple minutes of instant rendering, you can render a beautiful circle there that really makes it look a classic fade photo. Looks awesome. And again, by just Xing out, you can clear that right away. The next photo, by tapping on the wand, will take you to the HSB gamma settings, which are your Lightroom effects that you can do in a professional image processing, and it will do it right on the fly with instant on-the-fly image processing. So you have your contrasts, your brightness, your gammas. I really like this one. If you turn it up a little bit, you can really get that true early century photo look. Amazing. And just by moving the sliders on all of them, you can really play around with them and get to something you're really happy with if you're a camera professional or enthusiast alike. And just play with some settings here. It's just a great feature if you really want to get into customizing your photo to the way you really want it. And then again, you can always go ahead and save it, or send it away to someone, or restore it back to right where we left off. But in the end, after a couple minutes, I was able to take a photo and turn it into an amazing vintage piece of art in a matter of minutes with Strut Type Camera. Just marvelous. And again, the Strut Type Camera app is available on the iPhone and as well as the iPad, which is great for those point and shoot situations where you're out and about and really want to get a great photo in. Strut Type Camera app is available on the Apple iPhone Store and App Store, and definitely worth something checking out. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.